Good day everyone, I'm Pamela Sitjar from Bisadwandi and I'm going to tackle the RA 4670, Teacher Welfare and Privilege, the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. Section 1, Declaration of Policy. It being recognized that advance in education depends on the qualifications and ability of the teaching staff, and that education is an essential factor in the economic growth of the nation as productive investment of vital education. Section 2, Title Definition. As used in this Act, the term teacher shall mean all person engaged in classroom teaching in any level of instruction on full-time basis, including guidance counselors, school librarians, industrial arts or vocational instructors, and all other person performing supervisory and administrative functions in all schools, colleges, and universities operated by the government or its political subdivision. Section 3, Recruitment and Qualification. Recruitment policy with respect to the selection and appointment of teachers shall be clearly defined by the Department of Education. Section 4, Probationary Period. When recruitment takes place after etiquette, training, and professional preparation in any school recognized by government, no probationary period preceded regularly appointment shall be imposed if the teacher possesses the appropriate civil service eligibility. Section 5, Tenure of office, stability on employment, and security of tenure shall be assured the teachers as provided under existing laws. Section 6, Consent for transfer transportation expenses, except for costs and as herein otherwise provided, no teacher shall be transferred without his consent from one station to another. Section 7, Code of Professional Conduct for Teachers. Within 6 months from the approval of this Act, the Secretary of Education shall formulate and prepare a code of professional co- conduct for public school teachers. A copy of this code shall be furnished each teacher. Section 8, Safeguards in Disciplinary Procedure. Every teacher shall enjoy equitable safeguards at each stage of any disciplinary procedure and shall have the right to inform in writing of the charges, the right to full access to the evidence in the case, the right to defend himself and to be defended by a representative of his choice and by his organizations, adequate time being given to the teacher from the preparation of his defense, and the right to appeal to clearly designed authorities. Section 9, Administrative Charges. Administrative charges against a teacher shall be heard initially by a com- committee composed of the corresponding school superintendent of the division of a duty authorities representative who should at least have the rank of a division supervisor, where the teacher belongs as chairman, a representative of the local, or in its absence, any existing provincial or national teacher or organization, and the supervisor of the division. Section 10, No discrimination. There shall be no discrimination whatsoever in entrance to the teaching profession or during its exercise or in the termination of service based on other than professional consideration. Section 11. Married teachers. Whenever possible, the proper authorities shall take all steps on to enable married couples, both of whom are public school teachers, to be employed in the same locality. Section 12. Academic freedom. Teachers shall enjoy academic freedom in the discharge of their professional duties, particularly with regard to teaching and classroom methods. Section 13. Hours. Any teacher engaged in actual classroom instruction shall not be required to render more than 6 hours of actual classroom teaching, may which shall be so scheduled as to give him time for the preparation and correction of exercises and other incidental to his normal teaching duties. Section 14. Additional compensation in the case of other teachers or school official not engaged in actual classroom instruction. Any work performed in excess of 8 hours a day shall be paid an additional compensation of at least 25% of the regular remuneration. Section 15. Criteria for salaries. Teachers' salaries shall be correspond to the following criteria. Number 1, they shall compare favorably with those paid in other occupation requiring equivalent or similar qualifications, training, and abilities. Number 2, be they shall be such as to ensure teachers a reasonable standard of life for themselves and their families. And number 3, they shall be properly graded so as to recognize the fact that certain positions require higher qualifications and greater responsibilities than others. Section 16. Salary scale. Salary scale for teachers shall provide for a gradual progression from a minimum and back to maximum salary by means of regular increments granted automatically after 3 years. Section 17. Equality and salary scale. The salary scale of teachers whose salary are appropriated by a city, municipal district, or provincial government shall not be less than those provided for teachers of the national government. Section 18. Cost of living allowance. Teacher salary shall at the very at least keep pace with the rise in the cost of living by the payment of cost of living allowance, which shall automatically follow changes in the cost of living index. Section 19. Special hardship allowance. In areas in which teachers are imposed to hardships such as difficulty commu- commuting to the place of work or other hazard peculiar to the place of employment as determined by the Secretary of Education, they shall be compensated special hardship allowance equivalent to at least 25% of their monthly salary. Section 20. Salary to be paid in legal tender. Salaries of teachers shall be paid in legal tender of the Philippines or its equivalent in checks or treasury warrants. Section 21. Dedications prohibited. No person shall make any dedication whatsoever from the salaries of teachers except under specific authority of law authorizing such dedications. Section 22. Medical examination and treatment. Compulsory medical examination shall be provided free of charge for all teachers before they take up teaching and shall be repeated not less than once a year during the teacher's professional life. Section 23. Compensation from injuries. Teachers shall be protected against the consequences of employment injuries in accordance with existing laws. Section 24. Study leave. In addition to the leave privilege not enjoyed by teachers in the public schools, they shall be entitled to study leave not exceeding one school year after 7 years of service. Section 25. Indefinite leave. An indefinite sick leave of absence shall be granted to teachers when the nature of illness demands a long treatment that will exceed 1 year at the least. Section 26. Salary increase upon retirement. Public school teachers having fulfilled the age and service requirements of the applicable retirement law shall be given salary raise upon retirement, which shall be basis of the computation of the lump sum of the retirement pay of the monthly benefits thereafter. Section 27. Freedom to organize. Public school teachers have the right to freely and without previous authorization both to establish and to join organization of their choosing, whether local or national, to further and defend their interests. Section 28. Discrimination against teachers prohibited. The rights established in the immediately preceding section shall be exercised without any interference or Section 29. National Teachers Organization. National Teachers Organization shall be consulted in the formulation of national education policies and professional standards and in the formulation of national policies governing the social security of the teachers. Section 30. Rules and Regulations. Rules and regulations issued pursuant to this section shall take effect 30 days after publication in the newspaper of general circulation and by such other means as the Secretary of Education deems reasonably sufficient to give interest parties given notice of such issuance. Section 31. Budgetary estimated. The Secretary of Education all submit the Congress annually the necessary budget estimated to implement the provisions of the Act concerning to the budget wherein granted the public school teachers under the employ of national government. Section 32. Final provision. A person who shall willfully interface with, restrain for course any teachers in the exercise of his right granted by this act or who shall in any other manner commit any act to defeat any of the provision of this act shall upon conviction by punished by a fine of not less than 100 pesos nor more than 1,000 pesos or by imprisonment in the discretion of the court. Section 33, Repealing Clause, all acts or parts of acts, executive orders, and their implementing rules consistent with the provision of this act are hereby repealed, amended, or modified accordingly. Section 34, Separate, Separability Clause, if any provision of this act is declared invalid, the remainder of this act or any provision not affected thereby shall remain in force or in effect. Section 35. This act shall take effect upon this approval.